Hello, my name is Waylon Lewis, and I'm a self-proclaimed social media guru. Today we're going to do Twitter 101 with Ashton.
Hello, I'm Ashton, blogger at sirrichards.com/blog.
And what is Sir Richards, you ask? It's a brand new condom company. It's vegan, and it's 1 for 1. So you buy one, and they donate it to someone in the world who desperately needs condoms and doesn't have them. It's an amazing company. Too much to talk about in our 3 minutes. sirrichards.com. Or, after this tutorial, you can follow them actively on Twitter at @mysirrichards.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So, Ashton just asked a question. He's sort of the active blogger for Sir Richards. It's a great question, which is sort of why Twitter? Do you get traffic out of it? Sort of what's the point? And Twitter, I always say, really is useful for some businesses and not for others. For your business, it's going to be great for connections. You're going to become not only a resource for just talking about your company, which should be only maybe 10% of what you do, but talking about HIV or fun, issues around sex. You really should become the voice for everything that your company embodies. That sort of hipster, female-friendly, LGBTQ friendly kind of vibe. So it can be anything, and really you don't need to tweet about yourself really that much. So it shouldn't be promotion, it shouldn't be marketing. Right here I have Tweetdeck open. I have Tweetdeck on my phone, my iPhone as well, but I rarely use it just because it's a little bit more clumsy and limited. So I have Tweetdeck here, but I really recommend just using it on your laptop or your desktop. So when you first open TweetDeck, I basically have it set up how my 20-year-old web guy told me to do it. You have all friends on the left. That's just going to be there when you set up TweetDeck anyway. Up here is where you're going to write whatever you want to write. Mentions is anytime anyone retweets you or mentions. Retweeting is sort of forwarding on your message. So you can see, I don't know how far back this goes, that's probably a day. I usually get really good traction. I have about 20,000 followers, which is good. It's not great. Certainly like a half-baked Hollywood celebrity has like 200,000. Direct messages is basically email. People emailing me emailing back. We have some messages from John Friend right there, the yoga teacher. Friends, here's where it gets really important. So I created 2 groups when I first started. One is friends, people I actually physically know, or I really I have some strong connection to. So you should set that category up. And then I have movers and shakers, and that's things like New York Times, NRDC. In my case, I follow a lot of environmental groups, Grist, whoever it is going to be for you. So these are usually news, but big deal people. And then you can set up a ton of searches, which I've done. So anytime anyone mentions condom or HIV or whatever all the terms are you're looking for, and feel free to throw some terms in there.
Perhaps sex.
Sex. Well, you'd want something a little more specific, but yeah. Elephant to sex, you would have 500 million tweets a second would mention sex. So in my case, I keep them really basic. I search for certainly you should search for the name of your company. So if people are talking about your company, here's a tweet from you all, my Sir Richards. I was in the other day and wrote a blog about you all, and you mentioned that. So I search for both my Twitter handle, Waylon Lewis 1 word, and Waylon Lewis 2 words. Those are going to come up with different things. Then I search, in my case, for some Buddhist stuff. We have about 6 different Twitter handles that are run by different staff members, so I follow some of those. I'm following hashtag Boulder. In your case, you could follow hashtag whatever. I don't know. I keep saying hipster.
What is a hashtag, Waylon?
Thank you, Matthew. So a hashtag is basically a subject. So if you're following the World Series avidly, you could do hashtag whatever the hashtag is for that World Series. It would probably be, World Series, 100 or whatever number they're on.
So a hashtag is different than just a search subject query.
Yeah, it basically is. So like our hashtag LJ for Elephant Journal is what all of our bloggers and readers use You can see Deepak Chopra just tweeted it. So it really is effective in anyone who wants to follow elephant stuff, but not just what I'm saying, but what our whole community is saying. A hashtag should be really short. In your case, maybe safe is sexy. Even that is a little bit long, but it's probably all right.
So we have to create that hashtag somewhere?
Yeah, if just on every one of your tweets at the end, you say hashtag, so here, I said, I retweeted Yoga Bird, Elephant Journal Yoga for Bloodsport. Here's the link to her article, hashtag yoga, hashtag yoga dork, which is a kind of common hashtag for a lot of yoga people, and then hashtag LJ. So I use Twitter specifically for traffic, which will be part of what you'll be wanting to do.
How do you do that, Waylon?
Thank you, Matthew. I love this. It's like Sesame Street, except without the songs.
I'm actually using a puppet to talk behind the camera.
So I have an advantage in that we're a blog, and we blog about 800 different subjects a day, so we can blog about our own links 90% of the time without being self-aggrandizing, self-concerned, because all of our links are about such radically different things. So I'm having a hard time getting... I have so many categories open. TweetDeck gets a little mad at me. So this is what I do. We can just go over a couple. So I saw Deepak Chopra. He's a big deal on Twitter. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. Retweeted Gautam Chopra, who just wrote something on our site. That's his son. And I retweeted that. So my retweeting that is basically a shout out saying, Deepak, thanks for paying attention to us, because by him retweeting us, it gets us to hundreds of thousands of new people.
And do you think that it's important for us to communicate with our followers, our fans, the people who read the Sir Richard's blog and everything like that, to just like stay connected with them throughout like the whole Twitterverse?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing way. I mean, anytime someone is like, hey, I'm really inspired by Sir Richard's, this new condom company, you'll be able to see that on Twitter. Yeah. You can directly message them, and you could say, hey, thanks for the shout-out. We'll send you a free little mini pack, or I don't know. Or you can just say, hey, and just, it's really a personal medium. So I was at a social media panel with Whole Foods, which won #1 in the whole country for businesses. Oh. And they said the key to their success was that when they first got on, they used their PR voice. Like, I don't know what that is, but strawberries, $2.99 a pound, come in Friday to Sunday. And no one, it didn't work, it failed, no one liked them, no one followed them. So finally they surrendered to the medium, as you just call it, the Twitterverse. And they empowered one lady, her name is Winnie, in Austin, Texas, at the HQ. And she is empowered to be their voice. And from a huge corporation's point of view, that's a big deal. And even from a startup company, to empower one person to actually use your own kind of common sense and humor, and if someone has a problem with your product, to react to that in whatever way you react. Hopefully, a
Positive
understanding,
way.
positive way. But,
Well, could I interject with just sort of a 101 question? Because we're brand new to Twitter, and we have 140 odd followers.
Right.
How would you recommend is the best way, the most efficient way to go about picking followers up without being annoying?
Well, when I first got on at the orders of my 20-year-old intern web designer fellow, he said, get on Twitter, you're going to love it, it's going to be great for you. Like everyone out there who may be watching this, I said, I don't really like Twitter, I don't really get why anyone cares if I'm walking my dog, who cares? And he said, that's not what it's about, just get on there and you'll get it eventually. Just do it every day. I'm assigning you 12 tweets a day. There's like a bell curve that if you tweet less than 12 times, you're not really part of the conversation quite enough. And if you tweet more than, there's probably a new study that's come out since the one I'm referring to, but if you tweet more than like 30 times, people get a little overwhelmed by you. So I got in Twitter, and after 2 weeks of being bored to death of it and not really getting it, being like, I'm going for coffee and I just met with someone amazing, and feeling like, who cares? I finally got it. You just at some point you just get it's sort of like surfing. You finally get on a wave and you're like, oh, I get this. So everyone will get it in their own way. But for now, there's some basic keys, which is your tweets should be really short and they should be retweetable or clickable, one or the other. If they're both, that's great. So someone just wrote about how the true victims of porn are men, because men objectify women and become total losers, and I don't know. I haven't read it for a little while. But here's a quote from that: "Porn makes for a poor sex education." In quotes. It's from the article, and there's the link. It's very simple. It's somewhat interesting. People might be inclined to click that, and when they click that link, a little box comes up, and then they wind up on our website.
So you have 22,000 friends. Now, you no longer go out seeking followers. They just pick.
Right. So to come back to your question, when you first get on Twitter, I definitely spent a couple hours doing, you can go to search.twitter.com or whatever, and you can search green, or in your case, safe sex, or whatever it is. And then you can follow all those people. That could be thousands of people. That's like 3 or 4 hours of your life. But it's good because you make a lot of connections, and about half of them will almost immediately follow you back.
Mm-hmm. At some point, if they don't follow you back, should you unfollow them? Is that proper etiquette? No. A lot of people are obsessed about having, like, I want 200,000 followers and I want to follow 5 people. That's sort of like, you're taking Twitter too seriously. It's not like a junior high popularity contest. You should follow people you want to follow. In the very beginning, it's good to just follow everyone who's concerned with whatever your demographic is or whatever your subject is. And then, you can unfollow people if you're not interested in them and they're not following you back and you haven't developed any connection. I definitely do that. But frankly, that takes time. You know, there's no harm in following people. So I'm following. So there is a time commitment, a serious time commitment in the beginning. In the beginning. Like with anything. I mean, it's definitely 3 or 4 hours. You're going to follow a couple thousand people. You'll be followed by only 200. It'll feel and look a little bit bad, but that'll just motivate you to start tweeting. And if you have friends like myself or anyone who is active, you know, try and connect with those people and say, hey, retweet my thing. Or, you know, you can DM them. You can direct message them. So we could go over a couple more specific ones. So Adam Werbach, he's a big green consultant. I like him a lot. He tweeted a really interesting article about an iPhone app that you can use to get potholes fixed. I love that. I ride my bike. I'm obsessed with potholes. So I retweeted it. # Boulder needs this. It's just kind of a fun one. He sees that I'm giving him a shout out to my 20,000 followers. It's all love. A lot of Twitter is really cooperative, and that's what's so cool about it. It's really, there's almost no competition on Twitter. It's not set up that way. Again, really keep tweets short. That way, people can retweet your stuff. If people aren't retweeting your stuff, you're not going to get more followers or more views.
And I can only have like 140 characters, right?
140 characters. So you don't want to use 140. You want to use like 70. You want to use 50.
So I could get someone's like comment on my tweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because then they'll say, like I tweeted, the glass is greener. It's about using glass ball jars instead of a plastic water bottle or whatever. RT if you use, retweet if you use glass, and there's the link. It's so short that people are really inclined to retweet that if they love using their ball jar or whatever. So you see a lot of my tweets, 2 ways to go for our society link. It's kind of vague. It hopefully makes you want to say, "Huh, what is this?"
So when we sell product, obviously, and you provide content. You're looking for people to read your content. We're looking for people to come to know our brand and try our product. So is there opportunity for us to translate this into some form of sales through? Hugely. I mean, first of all, Twitter is free, except for the time you're putting into it. So your logo is going to be all over everyone. Your logo is going to be everywhere. So it's great presence. It's great branding. It's great advertising. You guys have such a fun sensibility. All of your text is hip and fun and sexy. You're going to be able to put that sensibility out into Twitter, and this kind of sensibility will be huge. People will love it. That kind of combination of giving a care about the world and having fun, and being a little irreverent and hip, people will love that. So, and you'll be able to insert yourself into, no pun intended, many conversations in the Twitterverse that have to do with safe sex or whatever the conversations you want to be a part of. And within a month or two, if you're doing it right, everyone in the U.S., everyone wherever,
will know that Sir Richard's is a dominant brand in the whole hipster, whatever, safe sex demographic that you're a part of. And that leads pretty directly to sales. Where can I get it? Where do I go? This is super cool. This is a brand I identify with, not say maybe whatever the other brands are, which, by the way, I've never seen active on Twitter at all. I'm sure they're on there. But like McDonald's is on Twitter, they only have 50,000 followers. A lot of the huge corporations struggle in this very personal...
Because they have no voice.
Because they haven't empowered anyone to have a voice. And advertising directly on Twitter is a fail. If you're like, buy Sir Richard's, we're great, people unfollow you. But if, on the other hand, you say, support Sir Richard's, we're trying to improve the world and have fun along the way, people will groove on that because that's a more personal appeal. It's not marketing.
So instead of just like throwing our product out there on Twitter, we should just be more informative, share some news and information mostly?
Yeah, I mean, be personal, as if like you're not a friend but an acquaintance. And when I see you, you're not going to yell, buy my product at me. I'd be like, man, that guy's, I don't want to be around him. You're going to say, hey, Waylon, did you know about this crisis in Haiti? And, we're trying to support that. Or, hey, check out the design. What do you think? That's pretty cool. Or, did you know that, abstinence maybe isn't, whatever. Give us good information, fun information.
Right.
So, yeah, just be human. Ironically, in this very digital, kind of intimidating medium, it's all humanity. Humanity is what excels here. So
you feel like you've given us the Basics 101, because there seems to be a lot of other ways to interface with Twitter, but we can sort of disregard that for now. Maybe we can follow up with you again in a few months.
Yeah.
When we're up to 50,000 followers.
That's right. You have a built-in advantage in that it's really sexy and fun and meaningful, so it'll do well. I would just say if you're using Twitter.com as your interface, you're not using Twitter. Mm-hmm. Twitter.com is sort of like the iPhone with apps, is built so that other, the interfaces like Tweetdeck will make best use of it. If you're using Twitter.com, you're basically like trying to drive a car without a windshield that you can see through. If you're using Tweetdeck, then you suddenly have this great dashboard. So, do it.
Any last questions, Ashton?
How long did it take for you to get to 22,000 followers? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very gradual, I guess. Our kind of growth is like that. It's not super fast, and it's not certainly very slow. Yeah, it's probably been a very active year. We were named #1 in the whole country for green content on Twitter in 2010, and all the personal connections we've made, like with Deepak Chopra, all these people, have really stabilized and strengthened our business and been probably our biggest flag. Facebook is much better for traffic. Twitter is much better for direct connections and presence, I would say.
Awesome.
So
this has been great. Thanks so much for
Thank you.
your 18 minutes of time, Waylon.
And if you don't do it, that's fine. Go for a walk. Get outside.
Thanks, guys.